Each brick is made from sand and 2 different types of clay, which are excavated on site.
We've been making bricks for 10,000 years, but the really amazing thing is that the design has hardly changed. They're still basically lumps of baked mud.
Meanwhile, back in the 21st century, at the brickmakers in Texas, plant manager Jim Kruger keeps an eye on the entire operation.
On this site, we've got several different types of clay, and that's generally what you need, because you can't usually use just one type of clay. You use a conglomeration of several types. Here on this site, we have a sandier material and a more high clay content material, and we combine the two together. And that's what you need to make a proper brick.
Jim may have the right sorts of clay to make bricks, but there's a problem. This raw material is too lumpy to make bricks. So a giant crusher smashes it into bite-sized chunks, which are sent on a roller coaster ride to the plant. At the moment, this mix is dry as dust. The solution? Just add water.
It's like a sandcastle. If it's too dry, it crumbles, and if it's too wet, it collapses. And it's the same baking a brick. You've got to get the recipe just right.
As well as sand, clay and water, one unwanted ingredient is being churned in: air. Air bubbles would weaken the finished bricks, so a vacuum pump sucks out the air. Then the clay is squeezed through a rectangular die, and the dense grey slab heads on down the line. But this isn't much use unless you're building one huge straight wall. So a guillotine hacks it into 3-metre sections called slugs, which are fed into the harp cutter. Play this harp and you'd lose your fingers. Its strings slice slugs into bricks like cheese wire through cheddar. The bricks look the part, but build with these and you'd bring the house down. They're almost 1/7 water, and that moisture could even cause an explosion in the factory. If they went into the oven in this state, the water trapped inside would turn into steam, blowing them apart. So first they're sent to the mother of all dryers. 6 meters tall, it can hold 350,000 bricks. But it's a gentle giant, wafting warm, humid air over the soft bricks, slowly removing the water in 24 hours. Now they're safe, but they've got no strength. To put that right, they cook them in a 117-metre-long oven, built from what else but bricks. Production manager George Campbell monitors the kiln.
If you take a brick going into the kiln and put it in the rain, it will just turn back into mud or wet clay. A brick coming out of the kiln, it will stand up to the weather.
Banks of dried bricks are slowly heated to over 1100 degrees Celsius.
Baking the clay makes it crystallise, so it turns into a kind of glass. Now, we see glass as being fragile, but it's actually this that makes it really strong.
The interlocking crystals bind the bricks together, and when they cool, they set solid. And samples are sent to be tested in the kitchen. Here, they're boiled up in a super-sized saucepan and popped under the grill. If they can handle Hell's Kitchen, the bricks can cope with anything Mother Nature might throw at them. Given the green light, each batch is stacked by giant robots. This plant produces over 110 million bricks a year.
That sounds like a lot, but suppose you wanted to build the Great Wall of China. That would mean you'd need 3.8 billion bricks. And that would mean this factory running non-stop for 35 years.
The bricks have now passed every test imaginable. But there's still one final check from plant manager Jim Kruger.
Well, a long time ago when I started with Acme Brick, they taught me that if you tap 2 bricks together, it should sound like 2 pieces of steel being run together. So When you do that, that's the sound of a good brick.
It also sounds like the cue to load up and hit the road. The finished articles pass to a storage yard, ready for delivery. From quarry to lorry with clockwork regularity. Good luck finding a builder as reliable as that.